what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, this is a second part of kind of the series. If you subscribed to the channel, watched my previous videos, you know I did a vlog where I came out to my buddy Eclipse's, aka Tony. He got a new gaming PC, came out, helped him set it up and stuff like that, walked through some stuff. And we also wanted to test it out because we kind of started having this question with COVID and the virus and everything happening. I had been personally, if you watch my live streams or anything, I personally talked about upgrading my computer system. I actually was planning on doing it about 4 or 5 months ago, right before all this stuff with the virus happened. And then that kind of got put on hold because a lot of prices and stuff for computer components started to skyrocket because availability got less and less, as China shut down for a while and a lot of parts come from over there, and even places here in the United States shut down. So we saw prices start climbing and climbing and climbing. Then one night I was talking to my buddy Eclipse, told me that his computer actually caught on fire. His CPU, the heatsink on the CPU, actually caught fire while he was gaming one night. So he kind of got to the point where he had to upgrade. And again, once he started looking himself into pricing out a new system, he then found this system by CyberPower PC at Best Buy, which you can buy. It's already pre-configured at Best Buy. And he decided to go ahead and purchase this because after he did a little bit of looking at the different prices and stuff, he came to realize that really was about, would you say, $100 difference?
$150 difference.
$150 difference versus buying it himself. And was that at normal pricing or was it at like current pricing?
Well, so it said it was on sale down from like $1,600 or $1,700, but the sale's been on. I've been keeping my eye because I've been looking to upgrade, soon anyway, until that had happened, and I was forced to upgrade.
Right.
It says it's on sale down from $1,700-$1,800, somewhere in that range, but it's been at that sale price for months.
Yeah. So, what about when you compared it to the actual component costs, buying them outright singly? Mm-hmm. Were those prices COVID prices? Were they? I mean, I think prices have started to come back down actually right about now. But
so there's a couple components that the issue was one, pricing with COVID. A lot of prices are up. The other issue I ran into is just finding things in stock.
Right.
With the power
so it's not even that sometimes that the prices have been jacked real high. It's that you can't even get the part right now.
Right. Like a lot of places, like Amazon, I think, maybe Best Buy. Like if you wanted an EVGA 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply, they had them at pretty standard price. They're a little high right now. In the ballpark of 120 to 150, somewhere in that price range. It's definitely higher than it has been in the past. But the thing is, you can't find them in stock anywhere. The cheapest price I could find online for somewhere in that ballpark of a 650 watt 80 plus gold, the cheapest I found in stock was $311.
Okay, right, yeah, right, which is just astronomical crazy.
Right, twice the MSRP.
And then, with me and Eclipse talking, and he telling me about this computer he bought and stuff, it then got me thinking, well, what kind of system could, because again, I've now put it off for about 5 to 6 months building my own PC because of pricing, and I started thinking, well, what if I just, build a custom PC through CyberPower PC that has all the parts I want, would the pricing be better than what I can get the stuff for? So that sent me down a rabbit hole, which, by the way, there will be another video. Spoiler alert, I ended up buying a custom CyberPower PC. Again, the system he got, you can actually go out tomorrow and buy it at Best Buy. They sell it there. It's, kind of a collab or partnership, whatever you want to call it. But I actually built a fully custom one on there with the exact parts I wanted, and it still came out about the same as his. I think after all the discounts and everything, which I'll go into more on my video on my PC once I get it, was only about $100 difference after I got my discounts and stuff. But it also came with some other benefits that you don't get when you buy your own. So kind of the overarching theme then became for this video, or what I wanted to talk about kind of in this little series about our new PCs and stuff, and coming out here and hanging out with Tony, is in 2020 with coronavirus and everything going on, is it worth actually buying all the parts and building your own PC, or is it better buying something from a company like CyberPower PC, iBuyPower, or even Main Gear? And that's kind of what we wanted to look at today. So let's go ahead and run through the specs of your computer system and what all you get in this system, as well as what it ended up costing you total, and that stuff. So
PC, it cost me about $1,350 before tax, and that came with a water-cooled, it's just a CyberPower branded, in-house water cooling. I think it's 120 millimeter radiator fan, but that's a water-cooled Ryzen 3700X. Comes with a pretty generic, it was an Asrock B450M motherboard, a RTX 2070 Super, a 650 watts or 600 watt maybe.
It was 600 watt.
600 watt power supply.
EVGA.
EVGA. They actually advertised it as a 80 plus white, which apparently I didn't know this. There's actually a tier below 80 plus bronze.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, which is 80 plus white. That's what a lot of people were saying they got shipped with this system. I don't know if I got lucky or if maybe they just upgraded a little bit for a little more reliability, but I actually got an 80 plus gold. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, which is huge.
Mm-hmm. It has 16 gigabytes of ballistics RAM, DDR4, 3000 megahertz.
Yeah.
Actually came shipped at 2666 megahertz.
We did have to go in and enable the XMP profile for the memory in the BIOS, which I was kind of shocked, but it could be missed here or there. It's not a big deal. It's easy to change, easy to switch in the BIOS, like 2 clicks of a mouse.
But that's the rundown. 3700X, 2070 Super.
Was a 1 terabyte M.2. I don't know if you
1
said
terabyte M.2. I think it was a Western Digital
Blue.
I think it had
which they're not the fastest. We look because that's the same I got in my system.
I think it was like 2200 read.
Yeah, something like
still
that.
Fairly
and
fast.
Right in 1900 write maybe. Is that megabytes per second?
Mm-hmm.
So something around those ends. We did get everything set up on it. It's running great. I mean, it came packaged well. I think they use air mailers and stuff inside the actual case to hold all the components in. Nothing was loose in the case when we got it. Mm-hmm. Another thing I was actually really surprised with, which is even something that in my personal builds I don't really do that good of a job at, is that they actually cable manage the system.
The cable management
really well. Like overall, for the price you paid, for the $100 difference, I mean, there are some nice touches that you don't typically see when it's yourself building the PC. I think cable management and stuff's becoming more popular today, but I know personally I don't. Another thing, though, that you got to consider is even though this cost him $100 more than if he built his own PC, he also gets a warranty with this, which a lot of times you don't have when you build your own custom PC. I know some motherboards and stuff do, but the process of dealing with a lot of those, I know I've had motherboards and stuff go bad in the past from my builds, and it is a pain in the butt dealing with some of these manufacturers for that stuff. Yeah. It might have gotten better over time. I don't know. But, again, what did you say the cost was? Pre-tax? $13.50. I mean, that's, to me, a great price with a 2070 Super, an AMD, 3700X. That's the 8-core 16th thread processor. So I think it's pretty good. So I don't know. In your opinion, Clips, what do you think versus the idea of, in 2020 with everything going on, building your own versus doing something like this?
So I think at a lot of computers, their MSRP or what their normal price is listed at, it's not worth it. Like I said, this was the retail price was apparently $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, somewhere in that ballpark. But the thing is, if you find those sales, which a lot of times, I think it's just a marketing strategy. They say it's a sale price. That's really what they intend to keep it at.
Right.
But those prices are worth it. Like I said, I think it was $150. This cost me more than if I had built it myself.
Right. I keep saying 100 because I'm thinking mine because I had a couple because I did mine directly through. And again, I'll go more into depth in my video on my PC on my system. But because I went directly through their website and ordered, there were a lot of streamers have a code that give you like 5% off on top of any other discounts and stuff.
Big difference when you're
Plus, they were having some July 4th promotions. It's about to be July 4th here in the United States, which is our Independence Day, kind of like Canada Day if you're in Canada. But so there were some sales going on for that, which saved me a little bit of money. So again, the difference was only about $100 after everything was said and done. Mm-hmm. And I also got some extra perks that even Eclipse didn't get.
Right.
Like an extended, instead of a 1-year warranty that he gets with his, I got a free 3-year because of the promotion.
Deal. They, for only $9 more, got a full mechanical Cherry MX keyboard.
RGB
for $9.
Game and mouse weighted with the different weights and stuff. Which did come with a keyboard and mouse as well, the system. But they, admittedly, they weren't the best quality. I would say out of everything with the system, the thing that probably disappoints me most is the keyboard that came with it. It's very, you can tell it's a cheap keyboard, and I don't mean it. Again, it's nice that they give you one. Most people have, if you're a gamer anyways and you're buying a gaming PC, most of the time you don't care about that kind of stuff because you already have the equipment separately that you bought that you use. Gamers tend to upgrade pieces of their thing and they don't really buy kits anyways, especially as they get more into gaming. And did we mention that you do get a 1-year warranty with this?
I do get a 1-year warranty, yeah.
Yeah, which, we did mention that. But again, if you have your own system, you're not really going to get it. Mm-hmm. We have run some benchmarks and stuff on that. So just to give you an idea for $1,350 where you'd rank, can we pull up the 3D Mark of the original test. We ran so we did actually run a 3D Mark test on the unit, benchmarked it. And for $1,350, like, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, you know, 2080 Ti's, I need this. Really? All right, apparently we got a mower, so you guys have to excuse it. I'm not in my normal studio space, so I'm sure the video is not quite up to the quality I do. But for $1,350, mind you know, I mean, my system costs about $3,000 to build. So, I mean, and that's because I do a lot of video editing, a lot of photo editing, so I wanted, you know, a little bit higher respect. But for $1,350, and this is, you know, 3D Mark compared to other results, this PC is in the top 15% of all tests run in 3D Mark. With their normal, this was, which test was this? What was it called?
Time Spy.
Time Spy, which is their newest benchmark that uses DirectX 12. We haven't run the DirectX 11 and stuff, we could, but in the newest Time Spy, DirectX 12, you're in the top 15, I think it's actually top 16%. It's better than 84% of all of the results in the Time Spy. In the ray tracing, now this computer also with the newer NVIDIA graphic cards and stuff supports ray tracing. Now it didn't fare as well as it did just in the normal benchmark test. You know, it ranked about in the top 50% for ray tracing, which to be honest, I don't know a lot about ray tracing yet. I mean, I know it looks sweet as fuck when you have it running and stuff, but I don't know how, like, what really matters with that in terms of, you know,
I think you gotta keep in mind too, with the ray tracing, when you're looking at the Time Spy benchmark, you have stuff like Office laptops are running this. You know, and of course the score is awful. You have gaming laptops running this. You know, you have their borderline gaming PCs. They call it a Ryzen 7 3700X.
With ray tracing, yeah, you definitely don't have as much data because only the newer cards and stuff can run it to begin with.
Right. So a lot of people running the ray tracing one are, you know, some of the best hardware.
Right. So again, I mean, I think, you know, again, I remember, you know, my computer that I have now, I think cost me about $1,500 to build. And when that cost me that, I didn't even hit top 15% back then in benchmark tests when I ran them. I think I was in like top 25% if I remember correctly. I mean, it was quite a while ago. Mm-hmm. But I hit like, and I was like stoked to hit top 25%. Yeah. So again, for, I mean, $1,350, you know, again, that's pre-tax and everything. You're going to have some more costs. But for $1,350, I mean, to be in the top 15% of marks, you know, in 3D Mark and stuff, I mean, that seems pretty good to me. Mm. So again, you know, I don't know, you know, in my opinion, right now with everything going on, like I said, I've been kind of impressed with what CyberPower PC has been offering. I don't know the type of deals and stuff that some of the others are offering, like Main Gear or iBuyPower. But, you know, it's definitely something that I think is worth looking into if you're going to build a PC. You know, I will say the one thing that if you're looking to build a PC and it's your first time ever, you've never built one, I almost think at that point it's worth building your own still, just for the experience of building a PC, understanding how the parts go in a computer, where they plug in, things like that, understanding how things should be run inside the computer. That way, even then later down the line when you've built your own PC, you have the knowledge and the experience necessary to troubleshoot it if you have any problems with, you know, a pre-built PC that you bought. Right. Again, it does come with a warranty and stuff, but sometimes it's something simple you can fix yourself at home and not have to worry about shipping it out and then waiting for a unit back and things like that. So that's my only recommendation.
The other thing, when you're comparing, you know, is it worth it to buy a pre-built versus build your own? I think you got to consider more than just the cost, because, you know, there's a convenience factor. Is, you know, how long is it going to take you to build? Me, I'm not the best. You know, I've only built one before. Probably take me 2-3 hours. You got to value that time. You got to think about how long it's going to take to ship to you. A ready-built system like this that you can buy right off of Best Buy, his is going to take a few weeks because you have the custom-made one. Something like this, though, it took me 4 or 5 days to be able to pick this up. Yeah. You know, whereas compared to if I wanted a decent, you know, power supply, like I said, if I wanted to buy one at MSRP, it probably would have taken me 4 or 5 weeks to be able to find one in stock and wait it to be shipped out. Yep. You got to consider stuff like that too. Yep. And if you aren't the best, if you are new at building your PC and something breaks and you don't know what it is, you're going to have to go through diagnostics, figure out what it is, RMA that part, send it in for the warranty. Whereas something breaks on this with the warranty, you just ship the whole system back, they'll figure out what's wrong, fix it, send it back to you. Yeah. So there's a lot of convenience factor, I think, besides just the price.
Yeah, I still think the experience of at least one time building your own PC,
I agree,
gives you a lot. But then after that point, like you said, it's more of not even that you then are an expert because you built one PC or anything and and you should, then never have to build another one. But again, just then after that point, once you understand it, that convenience and stuff to me all comes, that's exactly why I ended up buying a custom one, because it's like, man, by the time I spend my time doing it, by the time I get no warranty besides just what comes in the parts, and half the time, like I said, I've dealt with those in the past. Like you said, RMA in one part, you send it in, they end up telling you there's nothing wrong with it. It ended up being a whole different part.
Right.
This, it's a one-stop. You ship it in, they diagnose what's wrong, they figure it out, they replace it. If they replace one part and that doesn't fix it, they got the other parts there, so it's quicker for them. Where you could be, I think one time I had my computer down for about a month and a half because I RM'd a motherboard. They told me it was fine. So then I thought, oh, it must be my CPU. RM'd that. They told me it was fine. And it did end up, I did it with my motherboard again, and it did end up being my motherboard, so they messed up at the beginning. But it was still a process of like a month and a half because I had to keep sending a part in, wait for them to test it, wait for them to send it back, then send in another part to a different company.
And something like the motherboard to send in, you got to take apart the whole computer.
Yep.
And then rebuild it.
Exactly. So, at what point do you think, and I guess this is individual for everybody, but just from some experience of building your own, the cost savings, you even though you might have only built one system at this point and now have bought one pre-built,
right,
you've researched prices and stuff over and over and over. At what price point do you think that with getting the warranty with it, getting the convenience, at what price point do you think then it changes and you say, no, definitely build your own?
So I think if they're including a pretty standard warranty, like 1 year, where a lot of times you got to pay for the shipping to them, and a lot of times it doesn't cover accidental damages, it's just defects on the equipment. I think if we're talking about a standard warranty like that, a 1 year you pay for the shipping and all that, normal stuff. I think between $100 and $200, that's not worth my time to build my own.
Right.
Like I said, between waiting for shipping for each individual part, building it myself, dealing with any defects that I got to figure out what's wrong and ship it in and get it fixed.
Right.
I think past 200, maybe around 300 is when I would start considering it being worth it to build my own. But for 150, like I said, it took me 4 or 5 days to get this in my house.
Right. And literally it was already, everything was installed on it.
Everything's set up.
You had to install your games and stuff, obviously,
right.
But I'm saying it was literally plug everything in, hit the power button, it's loading up, and you got to set up Windows and all that. But everything was ready to go.
Right, and I'm gonna worry, is something gonna arrive dead?
Right.
Am I gonna have to RMA this? I have all my stuff now. I have to build it, or I have everything. My power supply is not gonna be here for another 3 weeks though.
Right.
For $150, all that convenience, I think that's 100% worth $150.
Yeah, I would say I've now built 3 of my own PCs. I've also built 2 for my dad's church, and I've also built 2 for my dad. So I have quite a bit of experience building PCs. So out of building like 6 PCs, and this is the first time I bought one, I would say $200 is kind of my price point. I think I think in order for it to be worth it, I think you have to find it when it goes on some kind of a special or deal, like I did with it being a July 4th sale. So I got a bunch of extra savings and stuff, and a bunch of extra stuff. Like instead of only just a 1 year warranty, like you would normally get with your parts anyways, I get a 3 year warranty, all that kind of stuff. Even like little things like the keyboard that we said was kind of cheap with his system. They had a special where like $9 more, you got an actual mechanical RGB keyboard and stuff, which we mentioned. So things like that made it more worth it to me.
Yeah.
Over $200, I think at that point, it just doesn't. Like Eclipse said, even himself, who's only built one, he said, it said, how much time would it take me to do it? 2 to 3 hours. You're talking, so even as a newer person doing it, even if you're brand new, I bet you can build a system in 4 hours or less. And at that point, you figure if it takes you the full 4 hours, that's $50 an hour if you're paying more than $200. Which again is not, that's not bad if at $200, $50 an hour to have someone do it all. They test everything, everything's quality control check, all that kind of stuff. Plus you get a warranty with one company instead of, but I think once you hit that $200 mark, if it's over that, you're better off either A, building your own PC, or B, waiting a little bit for some kind of special, because I'm sure they don't just do specials for July 4th. You also have several manufacturers like iBuyPower, Main Gear, so you can check multiple sites and see who's offering the best rates at the time.
I think a big part of the money too, because I don't look at it just as, I know you don't either, but I don't look at it just these, $200 saved or, $200 more to buy a pre-built. I think a lot of the value in a pre-built comes with that convenience factor. Because like I said, this took. I think I ordered it on Saturday or Sunday, and it's Friday today, and it's here. Or is it Saturday? It's Saturday, and it's here.
But you do got to remember, in most cases, in normal times, not during this, because I know things are a little wonky right now, but most times, both Newegg and Amazon have free 2-day shipping. Amazon if you're a Prime member, but Newegg, they also give you 2-day free shipping.
Right. But right now, in current times,
yeah.
Obviously it's not the normal. Hopefully it's not the new normal.
Right.
I think a lot of the value in a pre-built right now comes from that convenience factor where you get a ready-made system shipped to you in a week rather than, waiting 2-3 weeks to find an in-stock GPU or an in-stock.
But I think you also got to remember, once again, you hit that $200 price point. You're talking, that $200 is a 2070 Super versus a 2080 Super.
Right.
I mean, so you're talking, another 20% GPU performance.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what the difference is from 27 Super to a 2080 Super,
right.
But I believe it's about, if I remember right, about an 18 to 20% difference. So you're talking getting an extra 20% out of your games just by. Now, I will say, even with CyberPower, for example, with mine that cost $3,000, I paid an extra, I think it was $9, it might have been $19. I know the wire management was $19, but I can't remember. But they overclocked it, which guaranteed you at least an additional 10% performance.
That was $19.
And then that's covered under their warranty, meaning that if something happens because of that overclock, you're not liable. Unlike your normal parts, even though you have a warranty, if you overclock, most of the time that voids that warranty. You're no longer covered if something happens because of the overclock. So overall, I think right now, CyberPower PC has some great deals, especially with it being the 4th. This video will probably come out after that. But again, if you watch for sales, I definitely think it's an option that personally, in the past, I remember, again, I've built 6 PCs and I've checked pre-built in the past, and a lot of times it was $400 to $500 to get a pre-built done versus doing it yourself. You saved a lot of money in the past. I don't know if it's because they're doing more volume now, they're getting more parts at a discount, things like that. So they've been able to, as they've grown as companies, these, because more people are getting into gaming, buying gaming PCs, so they've been able to bring their price down. Because I guarantee you, even though it's a $150 price increase, they're making more than $150 off of this build because they're getting special pricing from, buying 1,000 of the same motherboard or 1,000 of the same GPU or whatever.
So I know a concern in the past with buying pre-builts is the reliability of your parts. Are you going to get some no-name, power supply? Are you going to get, a shitty unbranded motherboard?
Right.
Whereas it seems now, we have some pretty reliable big-name components. Like I said, and of course, they said it was going to be an 80 plus white, or a lot of people said that's what they were getting. Right. I don't know if CyberPower, had issues with that.
Maybe they ran out of those ones. It's hard to tell.
But we got a 600 watt EVGA Gold Plus. Power supply,
which is a great power supply.
Right.
In my opinion, I've used EVGA power supplies, 2 of them now, and I've loved them.
It's 80 plus gold. We got an Asrock B450 motherboard. That's a pretty big name. We got the MSI version of the 2070 Super. And this isn't, like, Derek got to handpick all of his parts when he did his custom made.
Yeah, which you can do. Like, this was a pre-built from Best Buy that they already have. You can customize the entire thing. And like I said, my savings ended up being just as significant, was about the same as him, the cost in the end versus buying myself. So you can cherry pick your parts as well if you want to. Do they have every single motherboard that exists, every single graphics card that? No, but they got, I would say, 80 to 90% of it. Things like design choices, like cases, they're not, there might be 200-300 different cases out there that you get. They're not going to have all those options. But in terms of like graphics card, they had all the big name brands. You could choose if you wanted a specific Asus or MSI or EVGA. Like, you could choose both your graphics card and the brand. Now, I will say, speaking of that, that's a good point. The one difference, though, is now when we're talking about doing this whole video and about, pre-builts versus, we're talking about using a company like iBuyPower, CyberPower PC, or Maingear, where you can actually select those components. If you buy a gaming PC from someone like Dell or HP, there might be some customization, but I don't know that you would get all those name brand parts like what you're talking about is kind of one of the big benefits as well. I could be wrong about that, but I've never seen them give quite the options like you get with these actual builders.
Yeah, I think you more pick the components. If you want a 700 watt power supply, you can get that, but it's going to be a non-branded Dell power supply.
Right, exactly. So, and that's it, guys. I mean, that's basically the video. Like I said, nothing super fancy, you know, not little more basic than a lot of my other videos, just because, you know, I'm at a whole different location. I literally drove 6 hours just to come out here, help him set that up and record these videos and stuff. Just to kind of, you know, like I said, I just know personally in the past, I've always went away from pre-builts because I was like, oh, they're way too cost. You know, they don't give you the savings that you get by building your own and stuff. But I just don't think that's the case anymore, especially with all this stuff happening with the virus and stuff right now. I think it's definitely something you should look into if you're looking at building your own PC or getting a new PC. If you guys are not subscribed to this channel, like I said, I also ordered one from Cyber Power PC. I keep wanting to say iBuy. I keep mixing up the two, iBuy Power and Cyber Power. But make sure you subscribe, ring the bell next to it to be notified when I post that video. But I do have one coming. I built what I consider the ultimate gaming, streaming / content creation machine on a consumer level. I mean, you know, you could go definitely create. You could spend $20,000 on a PC if you wanted to. But for practical purposes, you know, I'm really excited to share that one with you guys as well. Thanks so much to my buddy Eclipse, aka Tony, aka Bossman. I'm just making up shit. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video. Until next time. Peace out, everybody.